To the Honorable Jarl Balgruuf, you know my first allegiance is to you, so for this reason I am writing this letter to you now. Some events are taking place, and although I do not yet understand their full implications, I sense that important things are happening. It's possible that you have information I do not, so I will explain the events of the last few days, and perhaps you will be able to assemble the pieces of this puzzle more effectively than I. The day after I was pledged to him, we traveled north toward Labyrinthian Pass. He stopped at Honningbrew Meadery, but would not allow me to enter, so I am not sure what took place there. He came out with no mead, and my observations would indicate that he has no taste for the stuff. We set up camp at Silent Moon's ruin, and remained there for almost a full day. During that time, he rode off alone into the pass, and was gone for about 8 hours. Again, I have no idea what he did during that time. Incidentally, the bandits that were camped at Silent Moon's are all dead. Don't thank me, thank him. Just before dusk, he returned, and we immediately broke camp and headed west. We encountered a dragon on the plain just below the summit of Elder's Blood Peak. It was incredible. I will tell you the story over an ale sometime. Again, he left us on the slope and went to the top. He was gone for an hour or so, and I have no idea what he did while up there. As I am sure you recall, there was a particularly nasty blizzard 2 days ago. Well, we were caught in that and holed up in a cave in the middle of nowhere. He seemed very familiar with the place, and while we slept, he worked through the night. This strange trip ended with a stop in the forest near Falkreath. I did not know what we were doing at the time, but I have since discovered that this may be a Dark Brotherhood lair, although I cannot confirm that with 100% certainty. Since that visit, he has been a whirlwind of action. I don't believe I have seen him sleep in the last 2 days. He left home and was gone for a full day. I have no idea where he was, but he returned with a renewed sense of urgency. Sire, I am sworn to you, and that is why I break protocol now. I implore you to be cautious with this man. I sense that below his calm and silent exterior, there is a boiling cauldron of aggression. I have witnessed things in the last few days that lead me to believe him capable of astronomical slaughter. I will continue to report as ordered, but I beg you, do not take unnecessary risk with this man. By the way, the problem at White River Watch has also been eliminated. You may want to send a few men around to clean up the mess. Your loyal servant, Lydia.
Let me know if there's anything else. We've stopped. What is it?
Nefe's journal. The moment he arrived at the Overlook, I knew I had made a terrible mistake. Up until that point, there had been no question in my mind that what I was doing was right. Although his face was concealed, all it took was that one pale silver eye. Looking into his eye at that moment was like looking into an abyss, flat, dead, devoid of humanity. I always figured that looking into the face of another's rage would be scary, but to look into his eye and see emptiness,
I'm right behind you.
The air around us felt heavy and cold, like ice water. He's never spoken much, but the silence between us now was thick and filled with menace. I didn't dare say a word.
Hello.
At some point we should hire Tekla on here. If she could just spend less time serving Dengue.
More than I had slain on my way through, and many of them had been savagely run through or disemboweled. The sight was horrifying. While I had hated these people, I knew every one of them by name. "You will sit here," was all he said when we arrived at his home. He pointed to a chair in the dining hall and I sat. He retreated to the rooftop lookout and was gone for at least an hour. Lydia sat with me, a concerned look on her face. At one point I stood up. I thought of going to apologize to him, perhaps to confess my stupidity. Lydia gave me a stern look and I sat down. "You will do well to use your brain rather than your heart in this moment," she said. "You must learn to become attuned to the body language of others. While his is difficult to read, I see nothing good in it. If you go up there now, he may well throw you over the side."
You're someone who can get things done. I like that. Let's not waste any time. Handsome man in
When he finally came down, we set out for Falkreath. It was the dead of night, but he seemed to have no interest in sleep. Again, the ride was silent. Even Lydia said nothing. "You will stand here." He pointed to a spot on the floor, just inside the room he had taken for the night. I asked him why we had stopped, and he looked through me. From that point, I resolved to shut my mouth. I stood there for what seemed like hours until he finally came back. I passed the time by kicking myself and wondering why he was angry. Could it be that he cared for me? Could he care for anyone? Or was it that I had disobeyed him? I began to realize that he had vouched for me with the Jarl, taken a chance, and I had promised to be his loyal apprentice. I had disobeyed him and spit on that agreement. I was an idiot. I'd messed this up, and I needed to find a way to make it right. If that was even possible now. I was expecting him to send me away, but he said nothing. He stripped off his clothes and went to sleep. What was I to do? Was I to stand here all night long? I didn't dare ask. I didn't dare move. Late into the night, I was asleep on my feet. My knees and ankles ached, but I managed to stay upright. At one point, I opened my eyes to see that tavern wench standing next to his bed, putting her clothes back on. Had I slept through that? I hope it was nothing more than a dream. Welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I am the Couch Warrior, and you're watching Eridus Arcana, a Skyrim Let's Play. Welcome back to the story, brothers and sisters. It is Chapter 8, Part 5. In this episode, we are on our way to Riften. There's going to be a lot of travel, but this episode should get us not only to Riften, but we should be also completing a few things there once we arrive. So for this episode, you're looking at about 40 minutes or so in total. And as you can probably guess from the lengthy intro, there are going to be a number of journal entries from various characters in our story that will help us kind of get caught up on their thoughts and feelings on everything that's going on. Including, of course, Nefei. In fact, Nefei will have quite a lot to say in this episode. But I just figured it was about time, since the events of the last episode, that we hear her voice and get her perspective on the things that took place in Part 4. Now, of course, it is not possible to get from Falkreath to Riften without first encountering all kinds of stuff on the road, including this stinking bridge. So, what I have done here is I have called off the companions. I'm going to have my followers kind of wait it out, and Fleet is going to take care of this on his own. Just going to try to take care of it quickly and efficiently and not turn it into a giant slugfest with everybody running all over the place. So, I don't see how that missed unless I hit the rail. Okay, there's one down. Now that shot should draw our other bandit across the bridge. It's a little bit tricky. If this other bandit doesn't pause, I'm going to have to try to get a shot on the run or a walking shot, which is always a little bit more difficult, but so much more satisfying when you actually get it. Okay, the bandit's not really coming. I'm going to try to put one into the railing here. See if I can draw that bandit out. We want him to come across the bridge. Ideally, I want him to come all the way across and pause. Here we go. That worked. Come now. Oh. Yeah, look at that. Fleet telegraphed that one perfectly. That's not always very easy to do. It's much easier to do, of course, when they're walking than when they're running. Okay, bridge secured. Now, of course, we've got some big old nasty traps on this bridge, so we are going to have the followers mount up, and I am going to sprint the horses through there. If they stay on my tail, stay close and stay at a full run also, they should be able to get through without getting smashed by these falling rocks. Alright, sounds like everybody made it. Alright, I'm on my guard here too. Usually there's bears and spiders along here. So I'm kind of playing the role of scout, and I'm sort of leaving Lydia to hang back and deal with Nefei a little bit. You may notice that Nefei is not in her usual garb. I'm not going to get into the details of why that is, but it will be explained in time. Alright. We're going to let Lydia tank for us. We're going to pepper this cave bear with some arrows from a safe distance. Look at that. Archery increased. Very good. It's actually pretty astonishing to think that with as much as I use archery, that we have just reached level 83. I guess I would have thought that I was a little further along than that. But obviously I don't go back and check my stats a lot. I'm more interested in the story than my stats. The only time I tend to look at them is when I'm leveling, and even then, I don't zip through all the skills and abilities, so I should probably do that more often. But I will be covering that in an upcoming episode. I plan on doing a quick channel update where I will cover all of Fleet's current statistics. So watch out for that, as well as some other channel news and various updates on what's going on with our story.
That takes care of that.
Now, that's an agent of Stendarr. We will leave him to do his thing. We got places to go and a lot of ground to cover, so Nefe's journal. I must have dozed off again as I woke with Cimmerian shoving bread into my hands. He left me there to eat and left the tavern for a short time. When he came back, he ordered me outside. Lydia was looking on as she saddled the horses. "Take off your clothes and put these on," he said, and placed a set of canvas breeches and a shirt in my arms. "Take off your clothes and give them to me, along with your blade." "But why?" I asked, immediately regretting it. "You are useless to me as an apprentice, so you will need to earn your keep in other ways," he said blankly. I stepped behind the trade shop and changed in the bushes. When I emerged, he and Lydia were standing side by side watching me. His face betrayed no emotion, but I could see sympathy in Lydia's eyes. All I felt was shame. What will I do? This could be my last chance to make something of myself, to do something important with my life. I didn't even make it a week. I have nightmares of him leaving me behind or pushing me away. I have been foolish, but I will show him that I can survive this trial, that I am not useless. I will prove to him that I am worth training. There may be nothing in his face now, but I saw pride that day in Silent Moons. He was proud of me, and I must find a way to rekindle that feeling in him. Well, brothers and sisters, we are back on the trail. I think in the last episode I alluded to the fact that there would be many journal entries coming up in order for me to kind of explain my thought process on all this. There has been, after the last episode, there was quite a bit of comment and debate on the topic of Fleet's reaction to what Nefe had done. And I think, overall, people's reactions were split about 50-50, with half the people saying that they understood why Fleet was acting in the way that he was, and the other half kind of surprised, sort of feeling like he was almost too lenient on her, if you will. Expecting him to mete out some kind of physical punishment. So, I mean, I think that's probably a good topic, for us to talk about now. We do have trail time after all, and there is only so much I can explain in a journal entry. Really what it boils down to is, if you remember, the first in Cimmerian's doctrines, the first doctrine that Cimmerian writes is on the topic of understanding the psychology of the people around you, whether they be friend, foe, or family, understanding their psychology. So his reasoning for that, of course, is that the idea that you could be betrayed by someone becomes less if you understand the psychology of the people who are around you, so that you can anticipate what they are going to do and you understand what motivates them. Well, in essence, what Fleet is doing here is he's using the first doctrine of Cimmerian on Nefei. He is observing her. Remember now, he spent some time with her. He spent some time with her on the trail, and he has also spent time with her in prison. So, he's starting to understand what it is that motivates Nefei, and he's come to the conclusion that this is a woman who at her core is a survivor. she's a tough person. She's been hanging with bandits. She's been surviving for a long time in a very nasty world. And attempting to punish her by beating her up would be sort of counterproductive. Like, it wouldn't work on her. So as he analyzes her psychology, what he's doing is he's going to play on what he senses to be this sense of shame that she has. She is, I think, at her core, a prideful person, a person who wants to be good, wants to be the best, a person who wants to make something of herself, and she has been given an opportunity, and in Silent Moons, she did a great job, and she was given praise, and now she's had that taken away from her. And Fleet is really using her shame as a motivating tool. And so what we're seeing right now is we're seeing that strategy play out. Rather than telling her exactly what she did wrong, he just gives her, through his body language and the things that he says or doesn't say, his actions, he gives her the understanding that she has screwed up. And it's left to her to not only determine what it is that she did wrong, but how to fix it. And so what he's doing at this point is he's trying to instill in her a new sense of value. He's basically stripping her of all the things that she was given right out of the gate when he first took her on as an apprentice, and now he's basically saying, you messed up. You got to prove to me that you deserve this stuff, and he's forcing her to earn it. And that's what we're going to see play out in the coming episodes. We're going to see Nefei try to earn back his respect. And we're seeing that happen already to some degree. In her last journal entry there was sort of this self-proclamation, right? That she was going to fix it. She was going to be the best. She was going to find a way to turn this around in his mind. So I think we're going to see that kind of play out here. But for now, we're just riding across the countryside, pissing off every bear in Skyrim, and letting the townsfolk deal with it. I just don't have it in me to just get off my horse every 50 feet and fight a bear. I just really don't. Alright, we got some Imperial Guardsmen here. We're going to let them kind of clear out of the way here. There's no need to run them down yet. I really just need to get to Riften, to be honest with you. We got a whole bunch of stuff to take care of. As you know, we're advancing the Dark Brotherhood quest line. We need to go to Riften, and we are going to talk to Delvin Mallory and get this amulet appraised, first and foremost. We've also got a couple of interesting objects that we've acquired during our travels that Delvin will be interested in purchasing. We've got a piece of thieves' gear equipment we need to exchange with Tanelia. We have also got a mysterious gem that we need Vex to appraise. And in the end, we also need to meet Karliah here and deal with her. So we have a ton of stuff to get done here. So, thus, my reasoning for making that side trip up to Winterhold. And here we are. Nefe's journal. When we finally arrived in Riften, he would not allow me to enter the city on the first day. He had a quiet conversation with a stable owner, and soon I came to realize that he had bartered my services around the stable for the cost of feed for our horses. I spent the next 24 hours shoveling out stalls, caring for horses, cooking, cleaning, and being ogled by that Redguard kid that works there. On the second day, he showed up and actually allowed me to enter the city, but he took me straight to an orphanage and had me work the next 24 hours there. At first, I hated it, but the kids grew on me and it was much more comfortable than the stables. I'm not sure what his connection is to this place, but they all seem to welcome him. On the way out, I saw him slip a purse of what had to be at least 200 septims into Constance's dresser. Well, we finally made it. As is evident from the last journal entry of Nefe, Fleet is not going to allow her to enter the city at this time. What I am going to do is I'm going to have Nefe stay here.
Let's get going.
There she is in her garb. So I'm going to use the tweak options here. And what we're going to do is dismiss, but have her hang out here. So she'll be at the stables when we come back. However, while she's here, she'll be free to roam around and get to work, damn it.
Too lazy to walk, eh? Well, you found the right place.
Here's our stable owner. Alright, so we are going to take Lydia and proceed inside.
I'm right behind you.
So, let's go take care of stuff. Lydia's a great companion, but she's not a thief. And I don't know her well enough to let her into any of my business. So I'm going to bring her as far as here, and we're going to have her guard the back entrance of the Thieves Guild and wait for us while we go in and conduct our business. Again, I go to tweak options. For those of you who aren't familiar, this is a mod called Amazing Follower Tweaks. It gives me a whole bunch of options. So not only can I dismiss her, but I can have her stand at attention. And I don't know, something about standing at attention just feels right for Lydia. So we're going to do that. And we're going to go probably meet with Mr. Mallory first and foremost. I don't know how many of you have played the Dragonborn DLC, but one of the things, or one of the individuals that you encounter in that DLC is when you, well, let's see, when you first travel to the island, in the town there, I wish I could remember what it is. I can't remember the name of it. But the coastal town that you first arrive in when you go to Solstheim. There's a blacksmith there who apparently is the brother of Delvin Mallory. I always found it really interesting that somehow Delvin has about the thickest accent in the entire game. However, his brother has no accent at all. I don't know why I think about that, but Delvin is one of my favorite characters in this game. And I thought, oh, hey, it's his brother. Maybe he'll have, that same kind of accent or dialect. Nope. Strange. Makes me wonder about their backstory. All right, Delvin. Let's talk.
Something you need? Anything for the guild?
Actually, I'm here on Dark Brotherhood business.
Oh, I see. Well, you're making friends all over, ain't ya? So, how's Astrid doing these days? Tell her to stop by sometime. We can have a drink. Catch up. Ah, but business, of course. What kind of business?
What can you tell me about
Let's
this?
See.
We'll give him the
Where
amulet.
did you get this? No, don't answer. I don't want to know. This is an amulet of the Emperor's Elder Council, specially crafted for each member, worth a small fortune. Ain't something you give up lightly. Look, it ain't my business to tell the Dark Brotherhood its business, but if you killed a member of the Elder Council, you better believe.
Will you buy it?
Buy it? This? An Elder Council amulet? Oh yes. Oh yes indeed. Oh, wait just one moment. Here is a letter of credit, usable by Astrid only, for any service or item I can provide, as per our standard arrangement. You bring that back to your lovely mistress, with my regards.
So, you're Brynjolf's new protege.
All right.
Don't look
So
like
that's
much
taken
to
care
me.
of. We have the letter of credit. Astrid
back.
told us to expect that. Now let's
Well,
turn in this
well,
dwarven puzzle
I was
box.
looking for this little beauty. If you happen across any other unusual trinkets like this,
Puzzle box,
be
of
sure to
course.
bring
We
it to me.
acquired that
I
in
promise it will be worth
Caselmo's
the effort.
tower.
It's worth quite a bit, actually. Quite a catch. There you go. It should make you smile.
600 septums. That does make me smile. How about this model
Well,
ship?
well,
Is it worth anything?
I was looking for this little beauty. If you happen across any other
Nice.
unusual trinkets like this, be sure to bring
Now
them
the
to
model
me.
ship, we
I promise
acquired
it will
that
be
in
worth the effort.
Snowvale Sanctum.
What a delightful find.
So
You
we've
should
actually
come
had
with.
that in our inventory for quite a long time. Another 600.
Don't forget
That's
you're
awesome.
representing the guild. Don't do anything stupid.
Now we're going to go talk to Vex. We're going to have her appraise
I
this
have work
unusual
with that
gem
backbone.
we have. Okay.
Wow, since I've seen one of those. What you've got there is a stone of Baron Zaya.
Is it worth anything?
Not like that, it isn't. The stone was pried off of Baron Zaya's ceremonial crown by a thief in order to
I have to
cover his
confess, this is
tracks.
one quest line I have never completed.
I think
How many
there
of these
were
are there?
24 in all. Most people keep them as a curiosity.
Yeah, I've
Some
never
of the
had the
guild
patience
members
to
have tried
find all
locate them over
24,
the
but
years, but they haven't been successful. Well, until now.
maybe Fleet will have to do that. Are you sure you won't
Look,
buy it?
I only buy things I can turn around quickly for a profit. and no one wants these stones unless they have the whole set. Tell you what, if you find the rest of them, talk to me again. Otherwise, keep it. Maybe it'll bring you luck.
That's probably the nicest conversation
Hey,
I've ever had with
plenty of work
Vex.
to do here.
Okay, next on our list is Tanelia.
Well, looks like you're fitting in well down here. I'm supposed to allow you to trade in one of your pieces of guild armor. So what will it be?
It is
Of course. Otherwise
going
it
to
wouldn't be much of a
be
reward, now
the
would
hood.
it?
I'm going to trade in
Your
the
new
Thieves
piece
Guild
will
hood.
enhance your skill beyond that of the original.
Give
Trust
me a bigger break on pricing.
Are you sure? Once I exchange it for you, I'm not taking it back. Unless you want to sell it at a discount, of course.
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Welcome to the cozy little family.
Since we're
I'm
here-
one of the lookouts for the guild. I watch Delvin's back.
Let's see if we've got anything we can sell her quick. Make a
I
buck.
give special rates to members of the Thieves
Pretty
Guild.
sure I have some
Show me what you've
gems,
got.
things I can liquidate here. She never really has too much that I'm excited about. Alright. What can we sell? Here's some gems. Really, as far as the gems are concerned, I only keep the stuff that's flawless, just because every once in a while you run into a side quest or an item that requires it. So I keep them on hand. I don't take up a lot of space or have a lot of weight to them, so no big deal. But we'll get rid of some of these other ones that are less valuable. And then after this, next on our list is to track down Karliah. Karliah is supposed to come here and actually meet us here. She is not here, however, yet. So we are going to go into town, sleep for the night at the Bee and Barb, and return in the morning to rendezvous with her here at the Ragged Flagon.
All right,
And
then.
that brings us to the end of another episode. I want to thank you for taking the journey with me. And until next time, may all that you do be swift, quiet, and deadly. And to
So,
all
you're
Skyrim
Brynjolf's
assassins,
protege, eh?
I salute you.
Don't look like
Silence
much to me.
is our battle cry. You've been watching Aranis Arcana, a Skyrim Let's Play. If you liked this video, please rate, like, and subscribe. For more information on this and other Couch Warrior broadcasts, visit me on the web at www.couchwarrior.tv.